Today's episode is brought to you by SeatGeek, our presenting sponsor, as well as the presenting sponsor for Channel 33. Enter promo code BS and buy Panthers Broncos tickets on SeatGeek. This is right around the time when the tickets start dropping. They'll send you $100 on your purchase. SeatGeek's Broncos Panther prices are the lowest out there. They always show you the full price upfront, no hidden fees. To get $100 off your purchase, download the free SeatGeek app. Enter promo code BS. Also, on game day, why listen to played out commentary? That's why I want to tell you about Lee and Morris, otherwise known as Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele. They've partnered with Squarespace to bring you real football knowledge. Lee and Morris know the game even better than they know themselves. Join them on Sunday at squarespace.com/realtalk or check it out right now and build a website like theirs with a free trial. Use offer code BS to save 10%. Real Talk, Squarespace. This episode is also brought to you by Private Eyes from Hall & Oates, an 80s song that all of a sudden became really relevant in the last 24 hours. Let's go.
Yeah.
House,
Clear enough for you.
do you know if Tupac ever covered Private Eyes by Hall & Oates or no?
I don't know, but I'm glad that we're talking about songs. I got to warn you right up front. I'm in a singing mood today, my friend.
Uh-oh.
I have music in my blood today. Now, first of all, before every Friday Rollin podcast, I like to listen to my my Rollin playlist.
Yeah.
At the top of that playlist
Yeah.
is, of course, Picture Me Rollin'. That's Pac.
Yeah.
But then right below, I got my Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
I got my Coolio, Rollin' with the Homies.
Yeah.
I got my Adele, Rollin' in the Deep.
Yeah.
And then, I always make sure my Austin Mahoney featuring Becky G is in there.
What about
Austin
Private
Mahoney
Eyes?
Rollin'.
What about Private Eyes by Hall & Oates?
Well, it doesn't fit the Rollin' theme, but it sure does fit another theme.
They were rolling into somebody's house,
They
hanging
sure were.
outside the parents' house. If you had two private eyes outside the house of Dick House, your father, and your lovely mother, whose name I'm blanking on for some reason,
Betty
Betty House,
Yeah.
you'd be a little concerned, right? Two private eyes, just.
Well, they know better. They'd call the cops first thing. They wouldn't answer the door.
Yeah, Dick House.
Two dudes in long trench coats.
Yeah, Dick House would shoot those private eyes. So Wednesday.
He's an ex-Marine.
Wednesday, you finally got to see the magical Golden State Warriors and the modern-day Pete Maravich, Steph Curry. You got to see them in person in Chocolate City, and
Yeah.
you were beside yourself. I actually texted you at halftime to make sure that you hadn't had a stroke or something. Tell us what that game was like.
I mean, it's an all caps. Wow! The superlatives don't do it justice. It's not incredible. It's not extraordinary. It's not stupendous. It's better than that. It's better than all those. It's incredistupa unbelievable. It's a all caps. Wow! You can't believe it.
Did you find yourself cheering for Curry even though he was going against your team?
I mean, I texted this. It happens to be true. I had an involuntary reflex every time he got behind and started to put in the position to stroke it. I jumped up out of my seat every time. 8 times he was behind the three-point line in the first quarter. I'm out of my seat 8 times.
He made 7 threes in the first quarter. Like
He did it.
If we had said 10 years ago, like somebody's gonna make 7 threes in a quarter, we all would have been like, no way, nobody's doing that. And he does it routinely now. Like people, they don't even blink now. So I get these texts like Curry 25 points, 7 threes in the first quarter, and 10 years ago that would have I would have fell down. Now it's like, oh, all right, I'll turn that on. Like,
well,
he's
I'll
numbing
tell you
me.
what. Watching it in person, I fell down. I
Yeah.
jump out of my seat and then jump right back down. I mean, the crowd, it was a good home crowd. I'm not sure how it played on TV.
No, it played great.
Over...
That was a good DC crowd. It felt like a little bit of like a soccer game, which is how those Warriors games feel like, where you have like 25% of the fans are really rooting hard for Curry, and then everyone else is rooting for the home team.
Yeah, and the Curry, there was a buzz. There was a buzz every time he touched the ball, and there was like a collective breathing. We were all like in synchronized breathing, like oh.
Yeah.
And then some cheers, and the cheers, the contingent that is so impressive with Curry that makes the most noise are the kids. The kids love the Curry.
They really do.
They love Chef Curry. There's so many kids in Golden State, T-shirts. It's so good for the league.
It's great. And what's interesting is the last time this happened was the MJ Pippen Bulls after MJ came back, when it just felt like it was an event. The fans were kind of rooting for the other team, and there was just a level of respect I can't remember seeing before, just for what you're watching. Like, wow, I'm probably never going to see this again. You knew that in the moment. And then Shaq and Kobe came along. Never quite got there. It was awesome to see them in person, but I never felt like I don't remember seeing them in person.
No, that Bulls team, that was a barnstorming tour.
Yeah, there was something different about that. And Shaq and Kobe never quite got there. I think if they had peaked in 2001 during the regular season like they peaked in the playoffs, it would have gotten there, but it was really just a playoff thing. And then LeBron and the Heat, during the 27-game winning streak, they got there briefly.
Yeah, it was cool.
But it was temporary. This is different. I mean, this has now been going on for 4 months. We're in February now, and these guys this is like the Bulls, like you said, it's a barnstorming tour, and that's why this is so special, I think.
Well, and it's also different because of the singular talent of the best player in the league.
Yeah.
It's such a unique talent. It's so unlike anything that we've seen before, and the hot streak that he's on. And I know that I already kind of I went on Twitter Wednesday and expressed my disappointment about not being able to get in early. Washington couldn't figure out a way to accommodate the fans.
Yeah, that's
to watch
unfortunate.
Curry's warm up. But that there somehow or another, I saw the next day there was 200 people in there, but those were not. I have a buddy who's been a long time season ticket holder. He wasn't invited in there, so I have no idea who they let in.
That's a mistake.
They came up with an exclusive crew in typical Washington fashion. But the whole experience of him, there was a line of people on both sides of the tunnel, and they allowed fans to line the Warriors entry, and people were taking pictures as the Warriors entered the court, and Curry came out first.
Right, and I don't care
in DC.
We were there for the entire Shaq Kobe experience, and we were there for LeBron and the Heat, and LeBron got like 80% there, especially on the Cavs those last 2 years, and then when Miami became a little bit something bigger. But there was a villainous WWE aspect to that first Miami season. This is the last time I remember something like this happening was that Jordan Pippen thing where people would just wait for them to come out for the pregame. And it was like everyone's on pins and needles. It was almost the best way I can compare it is it's like being at a concert when you're waiting for the band to come out and then they lower the lights and everybody starts cheering.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
And part of it is because it's so joyful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the Warriors don't inspire like hatred.
Right.
I don't even know who the villain on the Warriors is. It's probably Bogut, I guess.
Right. We were meeting yesterday with some of the people that are working with me now, and I was joking about how the all-time hot take angle would be somebody trying to like create the backlash against this Curry thing, and we were joking about what that backlash would look like. I don't even know. I guess it would be like Steph Curry's kind of boring off the court, maybe. Like, where would you even go? Everybody just loves this. It's fantastic. I don't know how you would pick it apart. And we live in a society where everything gets picked apart. And this is the one thing, it's pick-apartable.
Right. It's because it's genuine and earnest. And, that's what a rare thing this day and age. So,
when you watch the Warriors, did you feel, and you caught them on a good night?
Yeah.
You
know what? I would say I caught them on like a 75% night, like on a kind of a B to B plus night. I didn't catch them on a pure A. Klay Thompson didn't have a great game. Draymond got to a triple double, but also had a bunch of fouls. Bogut damn near fouled out,
and they couldn't guard John Wall.
Their interior defense was sorry. I mean, they really had no answer for John Wall.
That's all fine, but they're not losing a game where Steph Curry scores over 50 points. The Warriors, as presently constructed, are not losing.
The thing that I found myself thinking as the third quarter went on and Washington made it really competitive and the fans were into it and Wall was going so hard. I mean, he's such a talent.
Yeah.
And it's a shame it's being wasted this season. But it meant that for sure Steph was going to come out and play in the fourth quarter. We were going to see Steph in the fourth quarter, and I was thrilled about that as the fact that the game, that Washington was playing hard. The one thing I will tell you, there was not 1 second from the moment the ball was tipped until 2 minutes left in the game when the Warriors were up by 13 or 15 or 11 or whatever it was, that I thought that the Washington local professional team was going to win. Not one moment.
And the other thing, when you go see Curry in person, especially on a night like that, nobody's going to get food or go to the bathroom or get beers or anything. You're just kind of in your seats until he comes out. And then it's almost like a concert where, you go to see whatever band and they play their hits. And then the guy's like, all right, it's time to play some songs from our new album. And everybody runs to the concessions. That's what it's like when Curry comes out. That
was me. He was out. Kerr did my bladder a terrific favor in the second quarter. Gave Curry a nice extended seat on the bench. I ran right up and ran right back down and caught him right at the end of the second quarter.
I wonder how high he can get from a point standpoint because, if a defense tries hard enough, they can make it really hard for him to score because it just becomes stupid because he's going to make the right play all the time. And if they're going to just trap him from 30 feet away, he's going to pass to an open guy, and that's it.
Yeah, so I don't think there is a kind of ceiling to how much he's going to score because I don't think the Warriors would indulge the idea of letting him get to 80 or try and crack 90, anything like that.
No,
it's so out of their DNA,
But it's like you said, it has to be a semi-close game. The other team, and that's why in the first quarter, when he had the 25, I was with Fantasy and Chris, and we're kind of watching the score. Like, man, if the Wiz can keep this to like 7 or 8, then Curry might actually play 4 quarters. Like, this is conceivable. I was more interested to see if he, what's crazy is he doesn't have the record for most threes in a game. It's 12.
I was stunned by that.
I just assumed he had it, and I assumed the record was 16 or something. But it's 12.
Exactly, or 20.
It seems so doable for him. But as soon as the Wiz realized that they actually had to start trapping him, which unfortunately did not happen in the first quarter, it all of a sudden the ceiling for what Curry can do. The Kobe 81-point game, and there were good oral histories about it, were. The two biggest factors were that it was a close game where they had to come from behind. And then they had idiot Sam Mitchell on the other sideline just single teaming him. And he was red hot and they didn't take the ball out of his hands. Yeah.
Poor Jalen.
But I mean, so I think it's going to be really hard for everyone, especially in the internet era where you're just going to be roasted and filleted and YouTube clips and GIFs and all this stuff. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. Not that people wanted to be embarrassed in 2006, but now it's like the stakes are higher from an embarrassment standpoint. And people just Curry, I don't see him getting over 62, 63. I don't think it's conceivable.
It doesn't make sense for the Warriors. I still think we can see somebody in the 70s and maybe approaching 80s, but it's going to be in a situation kind of like last season where it's like Melo and the Knicks playing somebody who's already shut it down for the season. Like they're playing Brooklyn or they're playing Phoenix or and Melo, it just happens to be hot. He makes his first 4 shots or something at the beginning of the game. Like, hey, this is cool,
right?
And so he just keeps shooting and shooting and shooting, and fills it up. He had that 5 or 6 point game last season, in March or April.
I actually think if you had to tell me who has the best chance of getting a 70, I would say Durant. Because
yeah, sure.
Part of what needs to happen is the other team has to start getting in foul trouble, and somebody's got to start getting in the line. And with Durant, he can get to the line, but so can Westbrook. And they could play a team like Detroit and just foul out Drummond and Aaron Baines, all these different guys, and by the fourth quarter, it's just a shell of a team. That's the one thing that hurts Curry is he's not going to get to the line over and over again. It's all jump shots, so you're always going against the other team's best team. But I like that. I like that KD theory because OKC definitely will allow either one of Russie or KD, if one of them has a hot hand, to shoot every single time they come down the floor. We should mention, speaking of KD.
Oh.
Both of us wanted to see him play for 2 straight months before we were officially ready to believe in the Oklahoma City Thunder.
It's true.
And he's done it now. I think I'm looking up his stats as we're talking, but he has played now 44 games. He's up to 27.4 a game for points. And his January was fantastic. 20.5 points. 9.3 rebounds.
Oh.
Getting to the line, 7.7 free throws. 49, 37, 89 splits. Like
Pretty
he's
good
back.
split.
That's Durant. That's why that 2 seed is so important because who the hell wants to play that team in round 2? Hey, here's my opinion. No thanks. I don't want to see those guys. Yeah, that's my expert opinion. I don't want to. I don't want to see Durant and Westbrook in any round, but especially round 2. And when then I would have to play the Warriors after that. No, thank you.
So they're presently 3rd, right?
They're 3rd.
How close are they to? I'm looking right now.
Well, the Spurs. It's getting interesting with the Spurs, right? They have a 5-game lead on Oklahoma City. There's 31 games left.
Yeah.
But Manu just went out. Duncan is a million years old. One little injury to Kawhi or Aldridge, and OKC, if they stay healthy, I think could make that gap up. That's not a lot of games, especially the Spurs have a couple more games against the Warriors and all that stuff. I want to talk quickly about Durant, and I know we got to talk Super Bowl.
Please do.
There's a story that came out a couple days ago. And it was Wojnarowski's new website, where it was a 2-pronged story about Durant, the Warriors planning for Durant, and then another article about how they could make it happen cap wise. All due respect to that site and the reporting, I thought that was one of the most ludicrous stories I've ever read, because for this reason, the Warriors are 45-4.
Yes.
Why the hell would they mess with anything? They're not thinking about next year. They're not thinking about Durant. I think it's absurd. I just don't believe it. I don't believe anyone in that team, in the locker room, in the front office, anyone who owns the team is thinking anything other than let's keep this together. This is a once-in-a-generation team. They're not thinking, oh, you know what we should do is get rid of Harrison Barnes and renounce Sean Livingston and renounce Festus Ezeli and trade Andre Iguodala and get Kevin Durant in here. That is the most idiotic logic I've ever heard. I'm not questioning that Wojnarowski wrote the story because he had information. My question is who's feeding the information? And
I know.
And if I'm on another team, like the Spurs or OKC, or the Clippers or the Cavaliers, I'm feeding this stuff to reporters and be like, hey, man, I heard the Warriors are going hard after Durant. Wouldn't you do that if you're one of the other teams? I don't believe anything about this story. I think it's being fed by the other teams, and I think they all have an agenda for it. Your thoughts?
Look, that's exactly the right way. I don't believe one word of it. We're so past the point where there's any legitimate reason to make speculation about where Kevin Durant might go next. The conclusive piece was written before the season started by Zach Lowe. The thing that makes the most economic sense, the thing that and still preserves KD's option, is to re-sign for 1 year and stay with OKC, with Russie, with Ibaka, and then come out the following year. So it remains the topic du jour. And gets as many looks. And we're at the point in the season where, getting eyeballs on stories that don't involve the games, because the games are only going to take you so far, other than Steph dropping 51. It's complete conjecture, nonsense talk, motivated by interest in silly stories. The one thing we both know for sure, it is impossible to forecast what's going to happen a year and a half from now.
Well, and also, I don't blame them for writing those stories. I think it was smart. They got them some traffic, some attention. You knew idiot ESPN was going to race to talk about it for the next 10 hours and get a whole day of programming about it on all their shows. I never heard anybody, and maybe it happened, I just missed it. I never heard anybody make the point that this was fundamentally idiotic, that the Warriors have a chance to break the Bulls' record for 73 wins.
Well,
and there is no possible way they're thinking about, hey, I know we're doing great this year. We have a chance to go back-to-back and go 75-7, but how could we get better? It's just idiotic. What are you talking about? Nobody's having that conversation. And if Joe Lacob, the Warriors owner, should come out, he should give a press conference, and he should be like, look, I saw this story, and I am just flabbergasted how stupid it was, because all this stuff's coming from other teams or people who are trying to undermine what we have. All I can tell you is this is the best experience of my life as an owner, as a human being. I would never want to break this up. I hope this goes on forever. I want to re-sign everyone. Why would I break this up? We're about to break the record for best team ever. I'm not breaking this up. Everyone shut up.
He doesn't need to go out and do that. It's not a distraction.
That's what I would do. That's probably why I can't own a team.
I think that's probably right. I mean, they're just handling their business. All of this is nonsense stuff on the margins. It's for the internet.
Well,
that's
Draymond
fine.
should have said something, because that article basically said that Draymond was already recruiting Durant and stuff. Draymond should be like, I'm not doing that.
It's too dumb to indulge. Why bother?
It was a 36-hour story. It was the main story everywhere for 36 hours.
Well, what's surprising about that? Donald Trump has been touted as the GOP frontrunner for the past 6 months. You mean the guy who's best on television, the TV celebrity, has been doing really good on television? I can't believe it. And then there's actually a moment where people vote. Wait a minute. They didn't vote for the TV star? The TV program is over. It's voting time now. And so the same deal here. Let's get eyeballs. Let's create stories. We have to have stories to fill up these hours of media and these pages of content on the internet. Who cares? It's ludicrous.
The sports media talk cycle is at its all-time dumbest. I don't even know who's arguing, and Rapaport's going to come on a little bit. We're going to talk about it. I don't even know who's arguing against Cam Newton. I love Cam Newton. Who doesn't like Cam Newton?
There has been this rumble all season long about the sort of emphatic nature of his celebrations and the duration of them and the dab and all of that. And there has been this undercurrent of act like you've been there. That's been going on all season long.
There was only one time I didn't like it, when they were way up in a game and he kept doing it next to four guys and on the other team, and I forget what game it was, and the four guys got pissed off. Felt like he was rubbing it in. Not a great example. What game was it?
The Saints game.
The Saints game. That was the one time I was like, all right, Cam, rein it back a little bit. But
yeah, take it down.
What he's doing when he scores in football and some of the stuff he's been doing after the touchdowns is we see it on 30 basketball teams. We see it in college. I don't get it. And I just don't know who's arguing the flip side on Cam Newton and why this became this whole giant race thing. I don't think he's from.
Well, you already know the answer to that.
You and
Chuck had the conversation. You and Charles Barkley talked about this a week ago.
It's so stupid.
It's so stupid.
I love Cam Newton. Here's a hot take about Cam Newton. My mom, who knows nothing, 2 weeks ago, walked into our house with a whole thing of meatballs, and she's like, "Who's this Cam Newton? He's gorgeous." That's a hot take. I haven't heard women in their late 60s talk about how gorgeous Cam Newton is.
He does have beautiful teeth.
He's a handsome dude,
I'm a grown-ass man, but his teeth are awesome.
He's a handsome dude, man. It's feeling like the year of Cam. So let's talk about Super Bowl. Both of us like to make picks. Both of us like to gamble. I am 6-4 this season against the spread.
I'm 5-5.
I didn't have the balls to take the Broncos 2 weeks ago, even though I told Tate I was going to before the podcast, and I had my whole case laid out. And
it was a good case.
At the last second, I panicked and didn't want to go against my team. And
I was lazy.
I knew that game was scary. I knew a bunch of dumb stuff was going to happen. And basically it came down to my kicker missed an extra point. My best defensive player got burned twice by Owen Daniels. And there was a pass interference that wasn't called. And most important, my two tackles could not block the two best pass rushers on the Broncos.
Yeah,
and we
I would call
to
that
lose.
the most important factor.
Yeah.
I would call Brady on his ass 20 times probably the factor that really decided the outcome of that game.
Yeah, I think we deserved to lose the game. But it was also one of those games where everything went wrong for the Pats. And other than the backwards pass, nothing went wrong for the Broncos. And my question, I guess the 4th and 10 Hail Mary to Gronk that he actually caught went wrong. But my question
I would
is,
say that went well.
You and I have been talking all season about how the Broncos have been pulling games out of their buttholes.
We have.
And also how it's literally impossible for them to get over 20 points.
We made that observation.
The Panthers are favored by 6. The Broncos cannot score more than 20 points unless they get special teams touchdowns, defensive touchdowns, whatever. And Carolina scores over 30 points in like every game they play. Just fundamentally, this feels like a 30-20 game if you're judging the histories of these teams. So why is the line only 6, and why am I so afraid to take Carolina?
Wow, why is the line only 6? So one interesting thing, people love Carolina. No big surprise. They scored 49 points in their conference game. A pretty unlikely thing and doesn't happen very often. They looked great doing it. It's not just that they, scored a whole bunch of points. They ran the Cardinals the F off the field. I mean, the Cardinals did not belong on that field. Carson Palmer. I mean, how's Carson Palmer come back from that?
He doesn't. He's gonna be on this podcast next year with us. Our buddies at Football Outsiders said it was, by DVOA standards, one of the great playoff performances in the history of the postseason.
Was the analytics support it? So people have been banging the hell out of Carolina. The line opened at 4, and it's up to 6 now. Over 80% of the money, and there were some books where the money on spread bets was all the way up to the 90% range on Carolina, and that's how we're at 6. And there's some thought it might go up to 6.5. Nobody thinks it's going to go to 7 in the things that I've read. But the phenomena of the most recent. What did I just see? Carolina, it passes the eye test with flying colors over the Broncos. But
so, oh no. Chicken parm, I'm watching you.
That's great to private eyes. The teams with the better defense have won 40 of the past 49 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Teams leading the NFL in total defense, 9-2 in Super Bowl history, and that includes the epic, colossal brain lock mistake by Pete Carroll last year. He made it 2 losses for the teams leading the NFL in total defense. There's also a fun thing. Underdogs of at least 4.5 points, getting less than 50% of spread bets, and I just talked about how much Carolina is getting banged on this thing. 28-14 against the spread. That's nice. That's 67%. You know where I'm going with this.
Are you taking chicken parm private eyes?
Chicken parm, you taste so good. Joe House pick of the week. I hope to finish 6-5 for the playoffs. I'm counting on Peyton Manning. I know exactly where that puts me, but I just the old adage of defense winning championships. It's I just can't. I'm old now. I'm stuck on stuff like that.
So Carolina, it's now 5.5. So you're taking Denver plus 5.5. Do you have a score for us?
Sure. Yes, I actually do. I like. Well, I don't have a score because I don't have a good feel for who I think is going to win.
Yeah. Okay. So you're
I
just
just think it's
grabbing
going
the
to be
points.
close.
Grabbing the points.
Yeah. 24-20, Denver covers. Carolina wins, Denver covers.
Interesting. So I am taking the Denver Broncos as well.
Oh!
Yeah. For a couple reasons.
Chicken parm, you taste so good.
The
That wasn't very good, Private Eyes.
I kind of enjoyed it. The nobody believes in us factor is at an all-time high.
All time.
Everyone thinks Carolina's going to win. This is the 2-week Cam coronation. Denver's lucky to be here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And Denver's defense has a ton of pride. Wade Phillips said it's the best defense he's ever coached. He seems to believe in the defense. And here's the thing. With all due respect to everything the Panthers have done this year, and Cam has been incredible, the kind of offense they have is the kind of defense that Denver should be able to shut down. I watched them do it with the Patriots, right? Those short passes, they swallowed up. They were able to, I thought, really cover Gronkowski effectively for most of the game. He finished with 144 yards, but the last two catches were the 50-yard Hail Mary in the double coverage.
4th and 10.
And that was after they had lost their safeties. And then at the end of the game, like that incredible catch in the end zone that it seemed like he was out of bounds, but he wasn't. For the most part, they took him out of the game, and I thought they had Edelman under wraps. They just did a really nice job. And
I think the disruptive effect of the speed of Denver's front four and the fact that Carolina just hasn't seen a defense like that this season.
Yeah.
There's no analog for this for them. They can't say, "Oh, we saw a defense like Denver in Week 6, and this is the way we schemed it, and this is the way we handled it." And this was just proven out. We watched it. It was borne out by what we watched Denver do to the Pats. You have a game plan. You can come in, but until you're on the field and that speed, that upfield rush, and the pressure and the pocket collapsing starts, recurring.
Yeah,
I don't think you can. The best laid plans, and the Pats tried to adjust, but the best laid plans, you just have to hope for the best.
Well, and then they can also, we know they can get a pass rush going with a limited number of people, and they can pressure Cam and make him move around and make him have to make plays and rattle him and all that with 4 guys, and they could just basically swarm the other guys. I also, Ted Ginn, he's got a big drop coming. Kochery, these guys aren't. Their skill position guys aren't great. Cam has made all of them, I think, a little bit better than they are. But when you look at, they've been an amazing home team, right?
Yeah.
They kill people at home.
This is a great point.
They were killing Seattle, and Seattle came back to make it interesting in the tail end of the playoffs. They killed Arizona at home. Over the course of the regular season, killed Tampa. I'm just going backwards. Killed Tampa by 28. Killed Atlanta by 38. Killed Washington by 28. Beat Green Bay. They were up by 20 something, and then they came back. But you go backwards. It's just they were an awesome home team. Well, on the road, Week 16 lost in Atlanta. Week 15 almost lost to the Giants. Giants had the big comeback. Week 13 almost lost to New Orleans, won by 3. They killed Dallas in Week 12, but that was because of the quarterback situation. They beat Tennessee. Everyone beats Tennessee. Seattle was close. I haven't seen the track record of them when they're not at home just rolling up the score. And then you throw in the fact that Denver's defense is going to be fired up. Nobody believes in us. We can beat Cam. We can get to him. Greg Olson's not going to beat us. We're going to make your other guys beat us, the whole thing. And then their history this whole season of playing close games that you watched and you thought, how the hell is Denver in this game? The other team is dominating this game. How is Denver around? Why are they lingering? And I just think this game's going to be close. Also,
well, look, and
I
you
didn't
even
mention one more. Thomas Davis. I don't think I think he's going to be a non-factor. He's got a broken arm. He'll play for a quarter and he'll come out.
Well, what about the team rallying around HGH Manning? I mean, didn't even,
we know. They only mailed it to his wife. It wasn't Peyton. Just went to his wife's house.
I just said HGH Manning. His wife's last name is Manning. Maybe they're rallying around her.
Chicken parm. You taste so
good.
good.
So good.
And also, like, I could totally see him winning. I totally see Jim Nantz covered in his own body fluids. I just can.
We've already got
Phil
some good tweets
Simms,
on
the
that.
whole thing. So there's two ways to go with this game. I feel like it's similar to the Pats game 2 weeks ago, where I think I was right when I said this. I covered my bases, but either Carolina just blows them out and Manning throws 5 picks and it's a disaster, or Denver wins the game or comes damn close. And I'm picking that scenario. I think this feels to me like a ugly 16-15, 19-17, like just some sort of weird score, and it's it's below 20.
Yeah.
And then Cam will have a chance in the last couple minutes to either win or lose the game for his team.
I agree that that's exactly the scenario. I think that's what the game we're about to watch on Sunday. Clairvoyant Bill.
Yeah, we're due for one of those, right? With the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I guess Seattle and the Pats is a good example of how a game like that could go. Just kind of ugly, some spurts, but for the most part, better defense
Well, it
than
got
offense.
super exciting for the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah. And the Pats ended up putting up 2 touchdowns and the whole thing. But I could see that going this way. And it just, it sounds weird, but I do feel like pulling out games and keeping games close and making them ugly and just being able to find a way to win over and over again, that's a skill.
That's their specialty this season.
The Pats, whenever we had that streak with the 21-game winning streak, in all of those games, there weren't a lot of blowouts in those games, All of them were like just kind of grinding it out. Somehow we won, making a play, being clutch. And at some point,
getting the pass interference, pass interference in the end zone.
Coming up big. At some point, it's a skill. And I think Denver has proven over and over again this season that they can win close games.
We've been watching it for 6 months. You got to give them credit at this point.
Joe House, we both like the Denver Broncos to cover a 5.5-point spread. I'm going to pick the Panthers to win by 2 points.
I like it. I had them at 24-20. What's your score?
19-17.
Okay. Good one.
Yeah. All right. House, always a pleasure. We did it. We're done. Take care.
Enjoy Rapaport.
Talk to you next week. I will. See you.
Right on.
Let's talk about HBO Now. It's the newest way and the best way and the only way to stream all of HBO, every episode of every season of HBO's best series, plus some of the biggest hit movies, sometimes before any other streaming service. No TV package is required. Coming to HBO Now next week, Fast 7. I repeat, Fast 7. The family is back. Coming to HBO Now later this month, the season premieres of Last Week Tonight and Girls, the series premiere of Vinyl, Magic Mike XXL, and San Andreas. Download the HBO Now app on your favorite device to start your 30-day free trial instantly. Just do it. HBO Now. All right, before we get Michael Rapaport on here, let's take a break to talk about our buddies at Betterment. If you're Danny Ainge, the best way to invest for the future is by trading a pair of rapidly declining future Hall of Famers to a division rival with a crippling cap situation and no young talent. And in exchange, you receive multiple unprotected first-round draft picks. I would say that's investing in your future. For everyone else, the best way to invest in your future is Betterment, the automated investing service that provides personalized advice based on your financial goals, then builds and automatically manages a customized portfolio for each goal. Save yourself time and money, give yourself peace of mind, do it for a fraction of the cost of traditional investment services. Here's how easy it is to invest with Betterment. Just link your bank account or roll over your 401k or IRA and you're ready to roll. Betterment is already managing billions of dollars for over 100,000 customers. You could be next. Get up to 6 months of free automated investing and more information as well when you go to betterment.com/BS. Betterment, investing made better. Again, betterment.com/BS. And now let's bring in Michael Rapaport. All right, as promised, Michael Rapaport, please don't swear that much. We have parents listening in the cars, driving their kids to school. I know all of our friends swear around their kids, but not everyone in America does.
No, they do. They do. And they'll be just fine. And if their kids hear me swear, it'll enhance the... You know what? You'll get a bigger audience with the kids. The kids will be like, please turn that guy back on. Okay. So I might do some, I might not. I'm going to control myself. But if it's an organic curse, I'll do it. All
right, I'm going to take the first curse. How the fuck are you not in this OJ TV show on FX? Where are you? Where's your agent? Who's your agent?
Well, the who's my agent and where am I? That's a whole other discussion.
You couldn't have played Robert Kardashian? They had to go with Schwimmer? You couldn't have put like a wig on with a little white streak in the front?
Little right? It's like the...
Juice!
Don't do it, Juice!
Don't do it, Juice! Where are you?
You know what the craziest thing, and this is what I heard, and then I actually got I got a copy of the audio, the audition tape, is Courtney B. Vance, who's playing Johnny Cochran.
That was you. That could have been your role.
No, but they were. You know this whole diversity thing in Hollywood. Originally, Danny Aiello was going to play it.
Johnny Cochran.
Yeah, and
get out of here.
No, he was, and his audition was going good, but the audition was like, that fucking glove doesn't fit on these fucking hands. If it don't fit, you must quit. You cocksucker, you. And he had the part until he threw that in there. Because then he started saying, that black glove doesn't fit on these fucking hands. And they were like, he doesn't say that. And he insisted on doing that way. And that's the reason why Danny Aiello is not playing Johnny Cochran. And Courtney Vance is doing a good thing, but they were trying to diversify the cast.
I thought you easily could have played any of the cops. I think, because I don't even know who played Mark Furman. You could have played Mark Furman.
To be honest, I did get a phone call about Mark Furman. But
now the truth has been revealed.
You're right about that, but he's very waspy looking.
But you've already played. Can we call Mark Furman a racist, or he just made racist comments?
He's both. He's
a racist who made that in Higher Learning.
Yes, I already did that. So I mean, but I actually did get a phone call about that because I saw a picture of him. But I knew they wanted more of the he's more he's a shiksa. He's a shiksa.
I think you're left out. You got left out because the greatest thing about this OJ show, and the thing I enjoyed the most, is that it's basically a pop culture cornucopia canvas of the last 25, 30 years. You have Ross from Friends playing Robert Shapiro.
Not a great part for Ross. I feel like, and Schwimmer's a good actor, not a great part. He's got who was the actor? Who was the Sopranos? The Walnuts, Paulie Walnuts. He's got the Paulie Walnuts.
The streak. That could have been you.
That could have been me.
You got him. You have Malcolm Jamal Warner as AC Cowlings.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays.
You have
Cuba as OJ.
You have Rod Tidwell as OJ Simpson.
Yup.
You have John Travolta as Robert Shapiro. You have Cheryl Ladd as Robert Shapiro's wife.
I didn't notice that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, yeah.
I was too mesmerized by Shapiro and Travolta. And when it goes to pop culture, like, we've talked about Stallone.
Yeah.
Travolta's, he's right in there with me.
It's 40 years of Travolta. It goes back to, Welcome Back, Kotter. Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Boy in the Plastic Bubble. Vinnie Barbarino, Tony Manero, and Grease. But after Tony Manero, it was a wrap for me. I love him.
I think he was the big winner with Grease Live because the guy who played the Travolta part, it made me think we'll never see another Travolta.
No,
it's like Michael Jordan.
I totally agree.
He's the best Grease lead ever.
Period. You can't duplicate what he did. He had the looks. He could sing. He could dance. He loves to sing and dance. And I mean, John Travolta. It's a guy you sort of take for granted, and you like he's up there. He's a little bloated. Listen, Travolta. I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. You're 60-something.
Yeah.
Forget the hair. If you don't have hair, you're still John Travolta.
I love it. But every movie or TV show, he has a different hairdo. It's great.
It's not even the movies. Every time you see him, like when he's in real life, he has a different hairdo.
Did you see the movie he made with De Niro where Travolta's like a Russian?
Yes.
I
don't want
forget
to
the
talk
name
about
of it. And
was
it's
horrific.
almost like he had a toupee, but it blended into a beard. It was like he just
it was
put
like
it
a
on all
toupee
at
with
once.
a chin strap.
Yeah, it was like when my son plays with Legos, and you can
Right.
put different heads of hair or something on the Lego characters.
Yeah. Are you? So you're digging it, but
I love it.
I don't mean to bring up ESPN, but
please do.
The 30 for 30 that was made. What was it? June 4th. About
June 17th, 1994.
That is you want to talk about the OJ? That was the best thing. That was the best.
So
That was a fantastic documentary.
Thank you, Rod Tidwell
Yes.
as OJ.
Yes.
I was thinking. I'm sure.
Perfect casting. First choice, I guarantee. Guarantee.
Rod
you.
Tidwell's pretty. He's like 5'7".
No, I know the physical size. He's not
I
that
needed
small.
somebody with size.
The physical size was the only thing, but the essence of who Cuba Gooding is, I guarantee you, he was the first choice. The essence of who he is, and the kind of actor he is, and the way he looks, and the way he's looked at in Hollywood, I guarantee you, he was the first choice they went to.
So I would have gone with Dennis Haysbert 9 years ago.
Dennis Haysbert.
He's too old now, but Dennis Haysbert 9 years
he's got
ago
the
should have been the
size.
juice.
Okay.
I need the size.
Yes, I agree.
I think Morris Chestnut, Sean Fantasy suggests that. That would have been a nice one. Somebody with some size.
Yes, but Chestnut is diesel. He's ripped, but he's not that physically big. Like OJ looked like he's probably like 6'3".
He was the juice.
He was the
6'2".
juice.
You need the giant head.
Giant
OJ had
head.
the biggest head of anyone who, like, other than the 3 years when Barry Bonds had a giant head.
Yes.
OJ had the biggest head anyone's ever had.
Right. And what about this thing about the CTE guy saying that he thinks he would bet his license that the real OJ absolutely has CTE?
I've been on that corner for Klosterman and I were talking about that in podcasts like 5 years ago.
Were you really?
Oh, he's the most obvious CTE case ever.
And those those helmets that he played with, Tonka toy helmets. Talk about he didn't even have a face mask. He had the 1 bar, 2 bar face mask, and he was playing with a helmet that they sell at like Target for like a Halloween costume.
In Ezra Edelman's giant documentary about OJ for ESPN, which is apparently great.
I can't wait.
Apparently, his head was so big even back then that in those Tonka toy helmets, they had to remove the padding from the helmets to fit his giant head in there.
Really?
Yeah.
They talk about that?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you still watch ESPN?
Nah, I don't like the sports talk shows.
What do you watch for sports talk shows?
I just don't care. That's why we have the internet.
I hear you. You know that
I don't like. I watch PTI. I still love Tony and Mike.
Probably now. If at one point it was every day, but probably twice a week, 3 times a week. People ask me the last time you were on Simmons and you brought up the now famous Zapruder Simmons tape that he cut out of the podcast. What did he say?
The lady in the umbrella.
People ask me all the time, and now I'm starting
Shots
to charge
coming
people
from the second
I
house.
make up shit. I'm like, listen, I'll tell you what he said.
Yeah, you should make up stuff.
What
Take
do
liberties.
I get from this?
Take liberties.
I'm not going to just tell you. Like, what do I get?
Take liberties from it. I'm glad we didn't talk about it though. When we're on a podcast together, I like the focus to be on us, not the past.
Absolutely.
I look forward.
I hear you. I get it.
With that said, I love reliving the past with OJ because that was one of the. I've written about it. I have a big column in it from 04 in my ESPN.com archives, which haven't been destroyed yet. That was one of the last great pre-internet moments, and I still think that Friday night during the Knicks game, which you might have been at that Knicks game.
I wasn't at it. I was watching it at my mom's house, going, "What?"
When they
happening?
were cutting back and forth to the OJ chase, was like the JFK assassination moment for the '90s, where everyone remembers where they were when that happened.
Absolutely,
right?
And when it clicked on, and like, what's happening?
I remember who I watched that game with, what house I was at.
Me too.
What our plans were for that night.
Yep. And the fact that wasn't OJ in the small screen, and then by like while it kept going on, then OJ
they did that a couple times, yeah,
and the Knicks were just like it was a foregone thing.
Yeah, that was such a fun. I was in Connecticut. I was dating somebody at that point, but I spent a lot of time in Connecticut.
She hot?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want
but
the
it was-
sports
remember-
gal to get wacky, but I'm just saying.
Remember the tri-state area in '94?
Yes.
You had the Knicks. You had the Rangers.
Yep.
You had the OJ thing.
Yep.
You had Mike and the Mad Dog taking off.
Yep.
It felt like
And
felt
you
like
had
a
the Knicks.
summer. You know, it'd be like how the blackout summer in the '70s,
Yes.
whenever they made Summer of Sam.
Yes.
That felt
The Bronx is burning. Take
Yeah.
the call. Take the call. Who
No,
is
it's
it?
all right. My
Who
bad.
is it? You got Scotch tape on your phone?
No, I had the
Is that Scotch tape
I
holding
have the
your phone?
iPhone,
together?
but I have the BlackBerry for emails, and I keep dropping the BlackBerry, and it's breaking,
But
and I'm
why
not
is
getting
there,
another one.
you really have?
Because it has I have holes in the
But there's
BlackBerry.
Scotch
It's so
tape
old.
on it.
I
You're
know.
Bill Simmons. There's a
I-
place down the street. You break it, we fix it. 67, they'll probably give you a discount.
I also have a dent in my car I haven't fixed.
That I can understand, but you have a phone with duct tape on it. That's not duct tape. That's literally you have Scotch tape on your BlackBerry.
I know.
I mean,
Well, it has holes. I don't want it to get ruined.
all right. So let you.
So anyway, the
brought up
OJ
I love it. I can't wait for the. I'm enjoying it. The chick who's playing Marsha Hardin, is it Marsha Hardin?
Marsha Clark.
Marsha Clark. Marsha Hardin's the actor. She's the best one.
Sarah Paulson.
Killing it.
From Studio 60, Matt Perry's greatest achievement.
Yeah, killing it.
Remember how good Matt Perry was in Studio 60?
Yes.
That was it. That was supposed to be his career year. And then Amanda Peet got pregnant and the whole show went sideways.
Yeah,
and
he hasn't.
he
Did they
hasn't-
cancel The Odd Couple? You want to talk about
they
casting?
canceled like 5 Matt Perry shows.
But they had The Odd Couple on CBS. You want to talk about like
you were mad you weren't cast?
Goddamn right I was. Oscar Madison, they got Matt Perry playing. I like Matt Perry. I did Friends, and no disrespect to him. Yo, but when they cast Matt Perry to play Oscar Madison, and I'm sitting at home twiddling my dick, I'm thinking, and I'm like, of course this is going to get canceled. Oscar Madison? First of all, they shouldn't even touch that. Huh?
I thought he played Felix.
No, he
played
played Oscar.
That's a terrible
That's what
idea.
I'm talking about. It's crazy. I mean, Oscar Madison?
Terrible. You got left out of some things that would have been great for you.
And then I got some things that are great. I can't complain.
Copland. You got Sly
Copland.
stories. You found out Burgess Meredith was a stick man.
A real stick man.
Like a real stick man.
Like no, in Sly's word, Burgess was a legendary stick man.
Right.
A legendary stick man. No, a world class stick man. That's what he said.
I was thinking about you.
He's winning the Oscar.
I was thinking about you during the Globes because Sly was there, who told you the Burgess Meredith story, but also Leo was there, who's this generation's world class stick man.
He's in a different level.
Yeah.
Whatever Burgess did, whatever Warren Beatty did, Leonardo DiCaprio has topped records. Whatever Jack Nicholson did in his prime, in like in the 80s and the early 90s, Leonardo shut it down.
He's like a tree man.
He's a tree man, and he's like an assassin. Like he's in and out, and there's no complaints, and there's no lawsuits, and no one's blowing him up on Twitter, and there's no dick pics. He's got it down to a science. He's got it down to
That
a
is
science.
true.
He's got it down to a science. Leonardo DiCaprio, he is.
It's like how Lance Armstrong was the greatest cheater ever with PEDs. Nobody could catch him.
Yeah.
Leo, same thing for being a stick man.
Yeah, and now I see some of these hipster manifestos saying, "Why is Leo only dating young girls?" Because he can, you
Right.
dumb fuck. Well, why? Don't hate the player. Hate like all these hipsters are like, "Why is 41-year-old Leo, whatever he is, only dating hot models who are 25, 26?" Listen, you could say what you want to say. You're a married man, you're happily married. But anybody who could be living that life and doing it where people aren't even angry at you, they would be doing it. I don't give a shit what you say. But
Well,
you know
we talked about this the last time, but the amazing thing about Leo is now that he's in his 40s.
yeah.
And he's still out at these clubs. You don't leave the club till 3:30, 4 a.m. after you've picked whoever your friend for the night's going to be.
Friends.
You got to go back to somebody's house or Leo's house. Now it's like 4:30. You got to make everyone drinks. You're not really getting down to business till 5:15. Now you're up till 8 in the morning. Leo's a vampire.
He's definitely a vampire, but he makes an appearance occasionally. Leo could fly fish off his house, off the balcony of his house, and have that same thing. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio's on
Probably
a different.
has.
He's on a different level. As a stick man, as a coxman, he's on a different level.
Do you think if Leo had bought the Playboy Mansion, that would have been the all-time? I'm laying it down as the world's premier tree man ever.
He's beyond that. He doesn't even need to do that. I think that would be
like
too
as a
obvious.
second house.
Like an
Yeah.
office. I'm gonna make this my office.
Owning this.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And he'll keep half in business.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some parties there every once in a while, and
We're
that's
gonna,
it.
get half on that Lamar Odom and see what he's still made of. See if he's still got it. What do you got for me on my Knicks?
You
Bill?
wanted to talk about Cam Newton, so let's talk about that. You have some Cam Newton thoughts.
Well, they turned the Super Bowl press week into they trying to create a fucking race war.
I know.
It's disgusting.
Barkley was on my pod last week and predicted this.
He was here?
Well, no, he called in, but he predicted it. He was like, I see where this is going. This is terrible. I don't know why they're doing it. Like, he did the whole thing. It was what happened.
They turn it into, they're trying to create it into a show. And I listen, I love Cam. I don't think he needs to dance every first down. You get into the end zone, do your thing. I mean, if I had the ability that Cam Newton did, I wouldn't just be dancing. I would strip naked and run around the field. But you don't have to do it. But aside the dancing and all that shit, he's a great looking guy. He's articulate. He's charismatic. He plays the game like it's never been played. He's 6'6", 260. And he doesn't mind being black. You know what I mean? Like, he's not making excuses for being black. And like, they're turning this into it, like this whole, like, he's not like explaining himself. He's comfortable with who he is. I've never seen somebody so comfortable. Like, he's like praying and like, talking to himself before he snaps the ball. Like, he's like in a different planet. Like,
but
Cam
here's
Newton.
my question: who's making the counter argument to that?
The media, the people that are asking the questions, like all these polls. Do you mind him dancing? And like ESPN. You're like some people.
Not my people.
Okay, I'm just saying. But they're saying like, like some people, like they take these polls. Do you not like him because he's this? Because he's black? Is the dance? And it's like, what the fuck are we talking about? I mean, what are we talking about? He's got a better personality than Tom Brady, and he's probably better looking than Tom Brady. Your guy, Tom Brady, and his chin.
Brady's got a great chin.
Tom's got a great chin. But he's got no personality.
He followed Leo. That takes a lot of self-confidence. And some very handsome looks.
Yes, he followed Leo.
I'm going to marry Leo's old girlfriend, and don't think Leo wasn't trying to get her back at some point there.
No, he don't do that.
No, he did.
He did try to get her back?
That's what I read in Us Weekly.
Okay, well then it's true. That's like better than Wikipedia.
Stars are just like us.
Yeah, it's like better than Wikipedia.
They get coffee.
Do you have a Wikipedia page?
I'm sure I do.
Do you know that my Wikipedia page is now saying that I'm a Jewish Mexican? Do you know anybody? That's what it says. Anything could go on. I thought Wikipedia was like where you go for information.
That's why I haven't looked at my Wikipedia page in like 6 years, because the last time I went on, it had like 3 things. I was like, oh my God, this is going to, I can never come back.
Why
here.
do people go to Wikipedia
Anyone
for facts?
can change it and
I know.
edit it.
Well, why is it still considered legitimate? Like, I'm surprised. Like, whenever I show up somewhere, they have my Wikipedia. Somebody was like, "I didn't know you were a Mexican Jew." What are you talking? And like, it's on your Wikipedia page. But back, what were we talking about?
It could help your Oscar chances now that they're going to embrace diversity. Yeah,
diversity.
You should say. You should say you're a Mexican Jew.
I could have at least, they shitted on Aiello to play Johnny Cochran, and I don't think it's right, because the diversity, the pendulum. What is it called? The pendulum. The thing. Pendulum?
But the pendulum.
The pendulum?
Pendulum.
It swings both ways.
Yeah.
Okay? It swings both ways.
Back to Cam, though.
Yes.
So the case you laid out about why people and why the media...
It's race.
But doesn't...
It's race.
Would Cam even crack the top 10? The stuff he does in football games, it wouldn't even crack the top 10 of things we see in NBA games, and everybody loves NBA players.
It's because it's a quarterback. No one says shit when Aaron Rodgers does his discount double check pump wasting, which he stole from. He didn't even create that thing.
Right.
He stole it, but no one said a word when Aaron Rodgers does his thing. But Cam Newton, because he's a quarterback, he's a black quarterback. They don't like it. They want him to keep. They want to keep him in his place. And the race thing is so visceral, and people want to act like, race isn't an issue until it's an issue. And I feel like right now, race in sports and race in the country and is more vibrant and right at the surface than it's ever been in my lifetime. Like, there's so much stuff going on. There's so many, with the police and all this stuff. I mean, what's going on with the press conference is a disgrace. If I was Cam Newton, you ask me those questions. This is what I say: kids, cover your ears. You say to me, "Why do you dance?" I go, "Why don't you suck this dick?" And then they say, excuse me, I said, why don't you suck this dick? Like, I mean, but he wouldn't do that because he's not me, just like he wouldn't run around the arena naked. But it's like,
he would do that. Like, he wouldn't do either of those things.
But it's like, at some point, it's like, you got to be like, what are you talking about? But he's got it all figured out, and that's why he's Cam Newton. But I'm like, send Aiello in one day to answer his questions for him. Like, he's just handling it perfectly, but Aiello should be in there answering his questions.
Why did you pick Aiello and not Paul Sorvino?
Because
Was
no
it a
one
coin
screams
flip
and
on
curses.
the way to my house?
No one screams
Oh.
and curses. No one screams and curses like Aiello does. That voice.
So Spike Lee in Best Seat of the House, which is a really good book.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Yes.
It's probably on Amazon. It's Spike's a big basketball fan.
He is?
I have a tortured history with his movies, but
Yes,
well,
me
he's
too.
actually a fan of the game. He's not just a Knicks
he's
fan.
a
Like
big,
he's
huge.
supposedly when Ralph Wiley used to write his ESPN.com way back, he had this character called the Road Dog that he would talk to, and that was Spike Lee.
Oh, yo,
So
Spike
if you go
is-
back and read those Ralph Wiley columns, the Road Dog is Spike Lee. But so
it doesn't get any bigger than Spike Lee as far as a Knicks basketball fan. He
so
loves
Spike
it.
in that book made this whole case about how Hoosiers and Rocky are both racist sports movies, and it's
That's
like
insane.
Here's the white hero, and now here comes like the Apollo Creed, the black guy, and Clubber Lang, the black guy, and then in Hoosiers, it's like here's this ragtag group of white kids from the middle of nowhere, and then they make the final game, and it's South Bend High, and they have a bunch of black kids.
That ain't racist. Yo, Rocky's
And then
the
it's like
underdog.
the white kids got to beat the black kids, and he kind of ruined
99.9%.
He ruined Hoosiers for me by like 8%.
Well, I've never been with you because I think Hoosiers is your favorite sports movie. We've talked about that.
It is, but it spikes in my head now with Hoosiers a tiny bit. Like the black coach on South Bend High has got a 4-point lead with no shot clock and a minute to go, and is like running plays.
Yeah,
it's like just dribble the clock out, dude.
Yeah, no, and you don't have
It's
to be
like
so.
thank God the white coach knew what to do, and that, hey, we're gonna run. No, go to Jimmy instead. And the
Right.
white coach always came through, but the black coach kept screwing up.
I don't look that far into it, but yo, listen. When
I'm just saying, Spike made me think.
He's a thinker, not a stinker. To quote Apollo Creed and Rocky, be a thinker, not a stinker.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Count to Monte Fisto.
How do you feel that Sylvester Stallone is going to win the Oscar for essentially Rocky 7? I cried when he won the Golden Globe. Literally, like I had tears in my eyes.
I cried, and then I cried a second time when he didn't thank Ryan Coogler or Michael B. Jordan.
That was a mistake.
But here's the thing: he's old.
He is old.
He's old. He's like almost 70. It wasn't intentional. He's just an old person. It's like when my dad can't find his car keys for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
It's no different.
Yeah, I agree.
So he'll thank them this time.
first off the top.
Coogler should have been nominated.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
The fight scenes were incredible.
The fight scenes were incredible. I think, but traditionally the Oscars don't nominate pop culture films. Like they're like, why don't they nominate Star Wars? They don't do that. It's a pop, just like NWA. As good as I love Straight Outta Compton, it's a pop culture film, and I loved it. But I just don't think it was worthy of an Oscar. I feel like the guy who played Easy could be in consideration for Best Supporting Actor. And I think the screenplay it got nominated, but as far as the best film, I don't agree.
it's too long. I just watched it again. And
Did you watch the long version?
no, I didn't see the director's cut. It's
I
like
wanna
almost
see that.
3 hours, right?
But I watched that just because of, like the information in there.
It needed to be 15 minutes shorter, but I'm not sure what should have been cut.
I agree. But I loved it, and I'm looking forward to watch the director's cut just to see what other stuff is in there.
You know what was amazing about Straight Outta Compton is that you had these 3 parts. And you had to nail all 3 for that movie to work.
Yep.
And they cast 3 people that I'd never heard of.
Yep.
And all 3 of them were awesome.
Kicked ass.
Like really great.
Really,
so,
really
like,
good.
The Biggie movie, the Biggie guy was good. He wasn't great.
yeah.
But I never felt like he was Biggie. Like these guys in NWA, I felt like these were the guys.
I felt like the Biggie movie, it was too soon. It's like
Yeah.
the worms hadn't died in the casket. No disrespect to Biggie, but it was like he died. Let's make a movie. It's like let some time pass. Like
Yeah.
everybody's so quick to like the Steve Jobs movie. As much as I like that, but it's like as soon as he died, like production has started. Like they were waiting, for let some time and some perspective come.
Straight Outta Compton had 3 or 4 just great scenes.
Great scenes.
The scene, the Detroit concert, which anyone who knows anything about that band, they're waiting. That's like going to be the big scene in the
Yep.
movie, and it just delivers.
Yep.
It's great. But the No Vaseline scene was
Yep.
great. Even the big opening with Eazy going and the breaking out of the house,
Yep.
like
that was really good. And when he first did.
and the scene when they all get accosted on the sidewalk by the
Great.
cops, and that leads to F the police.
Great. It was. There was some really emotional stuff, and like when you see Easy struggling, and I mean, it was really good. It was really
Way better than I thought it was going to be.
Way better than I
Way
thought it was
better.
gonna-
I was going to enjoy it no matter what, but it was so much better.
No, it's a
I
good
was
movie.
shocked.
The emotion in it was really good.
Where'd you
and
stand on Giamatti?
I thought he was good. I thought it was a little Jewed out. and I'm Jewish. I thought it was a little bit like, you know, like it was very sort of Bernie Madoff. It was Bernie Madoff. But Paul Giamatti's a great actor. But I think it was okay. I think it was okay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say I'm not upset that he didn't get nominated for an Oscar. Did you see Beasts of No Nation?
No.
You didn't see
I
Beasts
still
of No
have
Nation?
it's one of the screeners I didn't.
It's
never
on.
watched it.
You got
It's
a
on Netflix.
96-inch TV
Yeah.
here in the Bill Simmons studio. That's a big ass TV.
Yeah.
You need to watch Beasts of No Nation.
It's good.
Because there's
Stringer Bell's in it.
Stringer Bell's in it. He kicks ass. And there's a guy. If you've seen people who've seen Beasts of No Nation, some people caught this or some did. But during one of the fight scenes, there's a guy. Talk about a special consideration for an Oscar, who's running down the street naked with a fucking spear in his hand. I want to find that actor. He needs to get some sort of special consideration. Butt ass naked. First of all, if I'm going to fight somebody, if I'm in a war, and there's a guy running at me, I'm not saying with a loincloth. I'm saying loaf swinging in the air.
Yeah.
I don't want a piece of
Terminator
that guy.
style. Schwarzenegger, remember?
But yeah.
Schwarzenegger won. It's like, I'm just breaking my dick out.
This guy was breaking it out.
Yeah.
So that guy in Beast of No Nation, Idris, you were great. The kid's fantastic. But that actor, I don't know who he is. I don't know if he ever acted before. I want to talk to that guy, and I want to give him a trophy.
Great Fassbender move, too, and Shame.
Yes.
I think he fluffed himself a little bit, though.
He probably gave himself a little, you know, like he had like a little
Like a
deer
half
antler.
fluff.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little
something,
half
a little
fluff.
tap. Of course, you got to
Couple
tap
taps.
it. Make sure everything, you know, get the blood
Maybe
circulating.
someone on the crew touch it a couple
I have no
times, then
problem.
you're out.
No, you got to.
A couple blood. Just
Trust me, he did.
extra liter of blood down
Yeah,
there.
just give a little something.
Yeah, no question.
A little
You've never
something.
been naked in a movie, have you?
No, I mean, no.
Have you?
But
How many sex scenes have you been in a movie?
2 or 3 sex? I don't know, sex, make out. Not much, Bill. Are you
Nothing
trying
like
to
where
make
you
me
had
feel
to-
bad? Like, I mean, I know
No,
I'm
I've always
typecast.
wondered when people, you're fake humping somebody that.
It's not anything that you know. It's very uncomfortable. There's
Have you-
people around.
What's the best boner story you've heard from like one of your buddies who's in a scene and just popped one?
It's really an overrated thing. It's not really something that happens that much.
Okay.
Because there's so many people around. I think
Yeah.
maybe I'll be honest with you, because it's the Bill Simmons podcast.
Thank you.
Okay, and you're that guy.
Yeah.
And how many people are listening? How many people listen to each podcast?
This one will probably be like 500, something like that.
I thought it was like 500,000.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We're headed toward 30 million listens.
That's
in
what I'm
like-
talking about. Okay,
like
so I'm going
4
to give you
months.
this because you're that guy.
Yeah.
And you know, I get
You
hyped
gave me
up.
Stickman last time.
I gave you Stickman. I gave you Lativian Gangbanger.
Yeah.
That's, you know, spread all over the world.
Yeah.
When I was doing, I'm going to say this now. I was ashamed of myself. And this was, you talk about boners. Okay. When I was doing Beautiful Girls, the scene with Uma Thurman, this is
Yeah.
Uma Thurman in her prime.
When you're dancing,
When I'm doing the dance scenes with Uma Thurman,
you got a little wood?
I didn't get, well, the wood ain't little when I get the wood, Bill. I just want to clarify that right now. I bricked up real proper, and it wouldn't go down. Because we were dancing and, you know, we're rubbing up against each other, and I'm like, holy shit, it's Uma Thurman. Like, she's 6 feet, like a true 6-footer.
Yeah.
And she smelled good. Her hair was good.
Never looked better than that movie.
Sick.
The whole ad campaign was just about how hot she was.
Yeah, the whole ad campaign was about how, and so I'm dancing with her, and I get like I get to kiss her, and la 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 la, and I have a photo of that scene, like, and I'm like up on her, like the set photographer.
And
it
your
looks like we're
butt
in love.
sticking way back.
And then I had to move away from her.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if Uma Thurman feels my hard loaf against her while we're doing take 9, she's gonna be mortified. Like it's embarrassing.
Or maybe that's what her goal was the whole time.
Nah,
Maybe
trust
she
me.
made a bet
She
with
wanted-
somebody on the crew.
She wanted to get out of there as fast as she could. No, I mean, but like when we were doing the dancing in Beautiful Girls, I
Is that why Martha Plimpton was so horrified at the bar?
she
It wasn't
couldn't-
for this scene.
Thank
It was
God
like,
I had
what
a
the
long
hell is?
flannel shirt on.
Yeah.
Because
Thank God it was the 90s.
Thank God it was
Nowadays,
the
you'd be wearing
90s.
some nice tight T-shirt and
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to hide anything.
I've never admitted that to anybody.
It's
because
great.
It was, and I know you love Beautiful Girls. It was
I do.
horrifying, and I was like, yo, look, she was so beautiful, and she had beautiful big breasts.
One of the things we're going to do when we finish building our podcast studio,
Okay, is what?
which is going to be covered with vintage HBO posters, which I've been quietly accumulating.
Okay. What's your favorite one so far?
I found this one of The Jerk from like 1980, and it's like The
HBO
Jerk is coming to HBO, and it's amazing.
Damn.
So you and I are gonna watch Beautiful Girls in that studio.
Let's do it.
And they're gonna. I'm gonna also make them get the rights to Beautiful Girls,
Let's do it.
and we're gonna do director's commentary.
I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm
it'll be good. I'm so
totally
ready
down.
to talk about that movie and about my conflicted feelings about whether Tim Hunton was a pedophile or not.
Okay.
In the movie.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
Because now that I have a daughter who's within 3 years of
Natalie Portman's
Portman
character.
that movie, and it's like if we had some dude living next door, and all of a sudden my daughter's hanging out with this creepy guy, and I'd be like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah, yo, my man, beat it.
What are you What is this Winnie the Pooh thing you guys are talking about?
You're doing poetry with my 13-year-old daughter.
Can you get away from my daughter before I call the police?
Yeah, take a hike.
Yeah, why are you so interested in my daughter? Are you married?
You think she's cool and interesting?
Yeah.
And you're talking to Mo about like what you're gonna wait 5 years till she's 18?
First of all, I'd show up at his house with a baseball bat and be like, "Hey, my daughter just told me that you guys were talking about him waiting for you until you turned 18.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hit you over the head with the bat now.
Yeah.
And
Or
then I'm
you-
gonna keep hitting you until you stop breathing for about an hour.
Get the guy from Beasts of No Nation to show up
With
at his
a
door
spear.
with a spear, naked, and be like, "Yo, what? That's what you do if somebody's talking to your door. Get that guy."
Oh, that was an underrated part of Straight Outta Compton.
Was what?
When the Suge Knight character was incredible, but when he's intimidating Eazy-E.
Oh yeah,
and he's like,
I didn't like that.
"I'm gonna change you."
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I was like, "Oh no, that's like some
That's
1999 HBO Oz shit."
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like one of those threats out of BC would have made.
Yeah, I didn't
I was
like
like,
that.
"Oh no."
I mean, Suge Knight. It's like he's gonna be played by multiple actors in multiple films, like how Al Capone was it's portrayed. Like De Niro did it. Bob Hoskins did it. Like he's always
9 Suge Knights.
Yeah.
When Jimmy hosted the AMA Awards in like 05 or 06, I
Kimmel?
was one of 2 writers.
You got to say Kimmel.
I'm sorry, Jimmy Kimmel.
Don't be afraid to drop names here. I'm
Sorry.
doing it. I said I had an erection during a scene with Uma Thurman. Drop names.
We're running around because they're trying to do the show from different locations.
Yeah.
So he does a monologue, and then there's musical acts, and it'll be like, "All right, Jimmy, go now into the crowd. You'll do this next bit, and some 2006 artist will be next to you, and then run over here." So we're kind of running around this Nokia Theater, which I think is where it was. And we're going to that. We come out of the crowd. We go up this back stairwell to go up to where the next spot is. Coming down the stairwell is Suge Knight with 2 people. And for like a second and a half, he was like, "I don't know why these." He just had this look on his face, like, "I don't know why these people are in my stairwell, and we're gonna have to kill all of you."
Right. The vibe.
For a second and a half.
I hear you.
And then he recognized Jimmy, and he loosened up, and you could see him. But I saw it.
You
I
felt that
saw it.
vibe.
Oh, it's more than a vibe.
Yeah.
It's like my life's in danger.
Yeah, no,
it's the same way, like, you know, like when you
dark energy, we call that.
Yeah, when you reduce anything to just animal instincts,
Yes.
and just I'm in trouble.
I could have my
I'm
way
in
with
physical
you.
danger.
Yes.
I'm gonna die.
Yes.
I felt that for a second and a half.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
I sat next
I was
to
like,
him.
oh my God, well, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, he has that. He's locked up now, and I don't think he's coming out.
Yeah.
And you know,
it was the most menacing second half of my life.
I hear you. I hear you.
Then again, I'm from the East Coast. I haven't had a lot of menacing moments.
You haven't had a lot.
Yeah, I went to prep school. So
I hear
it's not
you.
like
You're not used to that.
yeah.
I got you.
It's like a very sheltered life.
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. Give me something on my Knicks.
Oh yeah,
Karl
let's talk
Anthony
about that. Then we
Towns
have to go.
Or the Latvian gangbanger as Rookie of the Year. Karl Anthony got him by a little bit. How good is Porzingis?
Towns. Here's the problem. It's really hard to win Rookie of the Year if your team's going to go 19-63. Right?
1963.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Because
And, like,
Minnesota has now turned on their tank sign. Minnesota and Phoenix are both perfectly happy to be one of the top 5 worst teams. Because if Minnesota cared, they would have fired Sam Mitchell. He's a disaster.
But Jeff Hornacek, he got.
Well, I don't know what Phoenix is doing. Phoenix has been the worst run team in the league for a year and a half now, other than the Devin Booker pick. But they're like they gave Tyson Chandler all that money. He's
I know.
washed up.
I think they
It's
give him the money because he's a nice guy or something.
4-year, $52 million
Crazy.
contract.
I mean, I love you, Tyson, but yo, somebody he's got a good agent or something, or I don't know what he's doing.
If you want
They
leadership,
broke up the Bopsy twins though, which I thought was cool.
well, but that's
What are those guys' names?
The Morris twins.
The Morris twins. No, I call them the Bopsy twins. They got the same tattoos.
But that was terrible though. They made them upset.
So what? This is the NBA. You don't get to pick pick and choose. Oh, we get a contract together. I don't give a shit. It's a business. We're upset because we were on different teams.
Well, but they took less money to play
Who
together
cares?
in the contract.
Okay,
It's a bad
now
agent.
we're
They should
trading
have fired
you.
their agent.
Then now get Tyson Chandler's agent, and now we're trading you.
I like Markieff. I would trade for Markieff. You always have. You're always sick. You've been on the pod 3 times. 3 times you've coughed your way through the pod.
No, I have a perpetual snort. It's
All
just
right.
called being Jewish. Go ahead, break
All right,
down
sorry.
the NBA.
So,
Give it to me
Phoenix
straight.
and Minnesota tanking. I don't think that translates to Rookie of the Year stuff. So I think for the zinger, if the Knicks can make a late little run here, and they blew it last night against the Pistons.
Yes.
They're not very good is the problem with the Knicks. You know what it turns out? In a league where point guards are the king,
Yeah.
and perimeter play and pace and space and all this stuff, to have the worst point guards in the league is a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, Sasha
Just is.
Vujacic and what's his name?
Jose Calderon,
Jose
all these guys.
Calderon.
These guys all stink.
Yeah, Jose Calderon's got to go.
and-
I want him to go back to him and what's the guy they had last year? The pizza maker who's on the Clippers now.
Pablo Prigioni.
Yeah, he's a pizza maker. Yeah, he's a good. He makes a hell of a pizza. I mean, can we get a real? It's New York. Get a real guy in here.
Well, all the delusional Knick fans are like, Jeff Teague, we're going to get Jeff Teague. It's like, how? How are you getting Jeff Teague? You have 2 assets. You have no first-round picks.
Right.
You have Carmelo and you have Porzingis. You have nobody else that Atlanta wants for Jeff Teague.
We've been so abused that we think like we're so happy that this year isn't last year. That's all we're happy about.
Yeah.
Is that like our expectation? It's an abusive relationship. Like
It's an emotionally abusive relationship for Knicks fans.
But this Porzingis, he's the real deal here. I mean, what do you see is the ceiling? Like, what can he be?
I told you this when we did the pod in November. I
Yeah.
was all in on the zinger.
The zinger.
I think he's one of a kind.
Yes,
He's
7'3".
exactly who you want. You want a stretch 5 who can make threes, who spreads the floor for everybody, and who can protect the rim. And he can
Block
protect the
shots
rim
without jumping.
Yeah, he protects the rim.
Literally.
And the other thing I like about him is that when I watch him run, I don't feel like he's going to be out of the league in 5 years.
I agree.
Like, I really like Miles Turner in Indiana.
Yes.
I think he was a great pick at number 11. But when I watch him run, it makes me nervous.
I hear you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
He kind of like his feet. It's like he's wearing slippers.
Have
like
you ever
his
seen
feet
me run?
slide.
That's how I run.
Right.
And I've always ran like that.
I don't like, it's like when I watch Bogut run, I'm like, that guy's not going to be in the league in 2
Right.
years. When I watch Bynum, when Bynum was around,
You're
it's like,
scared.
oh man, the way he runs, I don't like it.
Where is Bynum?
But like KG was always a gazelle.
Always. We were
Even
talking about
now,
different kind of athlete.
KG's 100 years old, and like you watch him run, and it's like that guy's built to just do this.
Yes.
And I'm not sure. A lot of these guys, like the Miles Turner type, I'm like, all right, great body, great athlete. I think he's going places, but when I watch him run, it makes me nervous. Porzingis does not make me nervous.
I
Is my
agree.
point.
One of the big things of
Carries his weight and height well.
I agree. One of the big things that I wanted to, because Drummond on Detroit is having a great year, and I want to give him a public shout out because he in the beginning of the season had so much hair on his shoulders,
Yeah.
and I think he decided to get it either lasered off or waxed. So I want to give you a shout out. Congratulations on your season, and he's also gotten braces and he got himself waxed. I want to say because it looked like he had like some sort of tattoo or burn, and it was hair. And he's fixed himself up.
See, this is why the ESPN talking head shows where they talk about Cam Newton and they try to turn race into a story for 7 days. I'm so much more interested in LeBron's hair, Andre Drummond's shoulder hair.
Yeah, or Jeremy Lin's dumbass haircut.
Jeremy Lin's haircut, poking somebody in the eye.
Right,
Like, this is the kind of stuff I want people talking about on my 24/7 shows.
I agree. I don't just want to sit here and talk about what's this new term, the offensive efficiency. Where the fuck did they come up with this bullshit?
PR.
What is this? Every year they come up with a new stat. Like it's
I
like,
know.
what does that mean? No one knows what that. Do you even know what that means? And you're Bill Simmons, he's the most offensively efficient guy. And they have
PR
this.
you're talking about.
I don't even know. It's like an algebra equation, and I'm watching basketball here, eating chips. I don't want to.
I like when, and I like a lot of the basketball stats. I respect the movement, but like, I don't need stats to tell me Steph Curry's the best shooter I've ever seen.
Yeah, I got it.
Like I got it. I don't need to know what his percentage is from 28. I just don't care. I already know.
And I don't need.
That's why I watch basketball. I like to form my own opinion sometimes, and nobody's ever been a better shooter than him.
Steph Curry today versus Steve Nash in his prime. What happens? They just go crazy on each other. No Bruno. Crazy on each other.
Steph's better.
He's better. He's
just better.
You can't guard him.
The problem with the thing that Nash never had is Steph just destroys defenses just by being on the. It's almost like how Randy Moss on the 07 Pats. He's just on the field. It just changes the defense.
Right.
They're so worried about what he's going to do. And Steph's the same way. You even saw the 25-point game the other night in 25 in the first quarter. And the Wiz just had to change everything they had to do to stop it. It just opens up everything else. It becomes impossible to stop them.
And he's barely sweating, and it's like he's lollygagging through. Like his disposition, his physical, he's so relaxed. He's so calm. Like I feel like they should make him start playing with his shoes untied. Like make it harder for him.
Would you move the 3-point line back?
Do something, or like when he's like make him shoot from the bench and he gets an extra point. Something like do you got to do something. And I don't think you can move the 3-point line back because it'll only really work for him. But I mean, the other day he made a steal versus the Wizards and he could have went in for a layup and he said, "Fuck it, I'm going to shoot a 3," and from 5 feet behind the 3.
So I have some people have been asking me, why don't teams rough him up for him? My friend David Nyman asked me this.
Can you catch him?
Why don't teams knock him around? Chris Paul is the most handsy. I think you got to just be handsy and just got to annoy him. And you got to be touching him constantly and just.
He's hard to touch
him, feel him, push him. That's what Chris Paul did. Chris Paul, Game 7, 2014. Remember Clippers Warriors Game 7? Secretly great game.
Yes.
It was kind of the birth of the Warriors, where things were going for them because Chris Paul fouled him 58 times in that game. And he just kept coming. And Curry finished with like 32. And I think I was still on TV at that point. I think I went on, and whenever we were on TV the next time, I was like, that game showed me Steph Curry's going to be great. Because Chris Paul fouled him every single play in that game. They could have called all of them. They decided to call none of them. And he was mugging him.
Right.
And Curry just kept coming and coming and coming. I was like, that's what I needed to see.
And that brute, Villanova, what the hell's his name? Whatever the fuck his name is. Every time I think of his name, I think of Ed Pinckney and Villanova. Dellavedova?
Dellavedova.
Yeah, whatever. He tried that crap last year, and he couldn't. It wasn't up to task. Remember, like they were like he was like the Jeremy Lin of the playoffs last year.
I want to see.
He looks like he has bad breath.
Dellavedova?
Yeah, he just looks like
because he's Australian.
Yeah, I don't know. Just something about him. He doesn't. He just looks like his breath might smell like mayonnaise. That's just my instinct.
So the Clips, who would play them in round 2, do not have the type of players to rough him around, except for Chris Paul.
Chris Paul doesn't want to get too close to him anymore, and I love Chris Paul
because he's at tail end of the prime.
No, because Instagram. He just doesn't want another incident. He doesn't want another incident. I know that bothers. That would bother anybody. That every time they show Steph Curry for the rest of his life, one of the things they're going to show is him making Chris Paul fall, which I think is one of the most overrated things anyway.
Totally.
I think the whole crossover culture. Yeah, if you don't play defense, you only get quote unquote crossed over if you're attempting to play defense. Me, I never got crossed over in my life. I didn't play defense. So that's why I never was made to fall down. But if you're committing to D, that could happen.
If the 92 Knicks played this Warriors team, in what game would Steph Curry be carried off the floor on one of those stretchers like they use with the NFL, where they have to like strap him in and put the chin pad on?
And you hope that he gives the thumbs up?
Yeah, you're just hoping. He gave the thumbs up.
Game 3.
Game 3 in New York?
Yeah, Game 3 in New York.
Who does it? X-Man?
Oak. Somebody's knocking him. Somebody's gonna.
How would they hurt him? Would it have been like they wait for him to shoot a 3 and X just goes underneath him like a D-back and takes out his legs?
And we're not trying to block your shot. We're trying to
we're
Lawrence
trying
Taylor
to hurt you.
Knock you on your ass, bridge you. That's what would happen.
Do you think Mason, Oakley, and X-Man would have gotten in an argument before Game 3 of who got to hurt Steph Curry?
Yeah, or why didn't you get him in the first quarter?
Yeah.
Like
a bounty?
For sure.
Would Riley have put a bounty on Steph Curry?
Absolutely.
They would have done all this stuff,
They would have done all that. But he's hard to catch.
Oh,
it's
the
like
other one.
Bieber in the celebrity game. I tried to get that little fucker.
Sure you did.
I did try to get him.
You tried to get him for an hour.
I tried to catch him. I tried to catch him, and that's me with Bieber. But and the thing about Curry, he knows all the tricks. People have been trying to knock him down. Like the way he looks and the way he walks so casually, and like he doesn't brush his hair. He looks like he wants a blankie on the bench. Him and what's his name on the Spurs?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Tony Parker?
No.
Ginobili?
No.
Kawhi?
They look like they need, instead of giving him a towel on the bench, give him a little blankie. They could take a nap. Like Kawhi looks like he should have a blankie.
Kawhi is the league's best chance to stop Steph in the playoffs because I think it has to be somebody who's 4 or 5 inches taller than him.
For sure.
Somebody who has the length to catch up with the little. You just got to take him out. And I also think the Knicks would have. I think they would have ended Klay Thompson's career in that 92 series.
Oh, for sure. They would have got him first game.
Game 1, yeah. Just take him out.
Yeah.
He's like the guy in the action movie. Just take him out. That would have been easy.
Yeah, they would have got him right off the top.
He's just out.
And X-Man would have, Draymond Green wouldn't have been laughing and joking. And he would have, Oakley would have sent his mom into a Twitter spiral. And I love
Draymond Green.
Oh, yeah. They would have shut that down.
Well, they get Draymond into a fight where Draymond has to be suspended for at least 3 games.
For sure.
And and now it's just Bogut, Curry, who now knows it's like the purge. They know he's going to get shot at some point.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah, and then that's it. I think the '92 Knicks win in 5.
That's it. In 5. That's it.
They have nobody left for the next round.
Right.
But they win in 5.
That's it.
And they've ruined the Warriors. And now the Warriors play basketball again.
Yeah, and then Draymond Green is in an institution somewhere right now. And I have to get I'm sure you talked about it.
We
got to
go after this because we're out of time.
Okay, 2 things, quick. Who wins the NBA Finals right now? Everybody's playing. Everybody's healthy right now. And do you love seeing Kobe go off when he has flashbacks?
I love it because I want them to pass Brooklyn for it to have more wins, so Brooklyn would be in the number 2 spot for the ping pong balls.
But Kobe looks good at times.
Kobe does look good. I mean, the last time we talked about this,
it was horrific.
It was sad. Like, we felt bad.
But we said he would flip the switch a few times.
He looks decent now, and he's rebounding.
That's
the thing.
Good.
Yeah,
the other
he
night,
looks good.
Really,
I think we're now in play for Kobe coming back for a year.
Don't do it.
I think we're in play.
Don't do it.
I think we're in play.
I know. I thought about that too last night. Like, he might be like, what?
He might, I could do this for 3 more years.
Yeah.
Play 20 minutes a game.
What's
for
the problem?
The Knicks.
This ain't nothing.
Yeah. Come in, just take over 2 8-minute stretches per half.
Just go
and
nuts.
I'm out.
Yeah, it looked good. All right. So right now, who wins a championship?
I still think the Spurs and the Warriors are dead even for me.
Who win that series?
Depends. I need to know who's healthy. I know it's a cop-out.
No, right
if
now,
I have
like
a
everybody,
100%...
man who comes back, what did he get, a ball busted the other day?
Yeah, scrotal injury.
Oh,
Testicular,
man.
yeah.
There ain't nothing
That's
funny
one of
about
those where you're
that.
not allowed to make fun of that.
Nah.
Yeah. No, not you, just everyone. Because
No.
of the karma of making fun of
I
somebody
ain't
else's
making fun of
testicular
it.
injury. Yeah, it's like...
I ain't making fun
Normally
of it.
the internet, you'd be like,
Nah.
it's like, no.
No, everybody
It's
was like
man,
hands
good luck.
off. That was like
Yeah.
one of the worst things. Like, even the internet didn't get in on that. But he
Yeah.
got a ball busted.
It sounds like it, yeah. That happened to Carlton Fisk in 1975. Foul tip, ruptured testicle.
See,
Broke his cup, ruptured it.
oh man,
Yeah.
that ain't.
It's
There's
like
nothing,
the Suge Knight thing. Like, I'm going to change you.
Yeah.
That's what that foul ball does when it ruptures your testicle.
Man, that's not funny.
So I would say if I have a 100% healthy Spurs team, but I don't have home court, I don't think I can beat Golden State.
They're tough,
I
man.
need to get my home court, and I don't think they can get it unless somebody at Golden State gets hurt. The wild card is OKC because
ain't
Durant and
winning.
Westbrook can just beat them.
They're not gonna beat who?
They can beat anybody in a
They ain't
series.
they ain't beating
It's
the Golden
4
State.
games. You get it 4 out of 7. You get 2 giant Durant games where they just win because he's unbelievable. You're going to get 1 great Westbrook game. So it's going 7.
Yeah,
And
you're
now
right.
I'm in a 7th game with Durant and Westbrook.
You're right.
And, you know, I have the best player on the floor on Curry, but they have the next best 2 guys on the floor. That makes me nervous.
Okay.
So I got to get them out before a game 7 because
Right.
I don't want to play Durant and Westbrook in a game
Yeah.
7.
No, I hear you.
Because Durant's back.
Durant is back.
Durant's back. I've seen all I need to see. Durant is back.
And talk about like Westbrook is like you can't stop him. He's like Uma Thurman in Kill Bill. Like, you thought he was like guys had so many injuries. Like, he at one point, like, he had like half his foot chopped off. He comes back. He doesn't miss a beat. Normal people slow down from injuries like that.
It just happened. No, it's just you said Uma Thurman. I thought he was a boner. So it's time to go. You've ruined Uma Thurman for me.
No,
I think of your boner now. Every time I hear Uma Thurman for the rest of my life, it's you like pulling your body away from her so she doesn't feel your thunder. Yeah,
feel my thunder. No, I need to just ask you quick. I'm sure you covered it. I didn't listen. Tyronn Lue and the whole fiasco and David Blatt, and they shitted on my man David Blatt. Not that I gave 2 cents.
They did. Tough. Israel has turned against the Cavs.
Oh,
you don't follow those stories? Oh
yeah.
My God.
Wait, Israel writing...
Israel was all in on Blatt.
Oh, I'm sure that, but as the country actually...
There were stories about it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
About how the Cavs are out. Yeah, they're done with the Cavs.
I didn't know that.
They stabbed David Blatt in the back, all this stuff. I thought he did a bad job. If you can't figure out how to use Kevin Love, you shouldn't be an NBA head coach.
There it is.
You can't stick Kevin Love in the corner.
No.
Kevin Love needs to be in the mix. He needs to be on top of the key. He needs to be setting screens. You got to post him up.
Right.
He's not one of the best 10 offensive players in the league.
I agree.
He averaged 26 a game.
I agree.
He shoots threes. He can post up. You have him in the corner. It's idiotic.
And what is it with my man David Lee? Is he?
He's done. Yeah.
But why? He's a good player. Is he?
Nah, it's over. My dad. Sage dad. My dad has had season tickets since 1974. Who wanted the David Lee thing as bad as anyone? Reminding him of Cowens a little bit, his favorite player. It's like he's got no lift. It's like his shot's getting blocked below the rim. It's over.
All right.
Yeah. Great teammate, though.
Yes.
Great teammate. My team needs to make a trade, but I don't know what that trade's going to be.
And what is that coach? He's like 17 now?
Brad Stevens. Turned 18.
Turned 18.
Got hair in his balls 6 months ago. It's great.
Yeah, he's good.
It's good.
All right.
Anything to plug?
Yo,
want to plug your podcast?
The I Am Rapaport stereo podcast.
Oh.
This is the Bill Simmons podcast, and you're in a league by yourself, but we're in stereo. The I Am Rapaport stereo podcast.
That sounds exciting.
You have an open invitation. I know you're the David Letterman of podcasts. You don't leave, your studio and all that stuff here. But if you're ever going to be interviewed by somebody, don't be by one of these drip dry guys. You come over to me. I get you some coffee, whatever you want. We do it right. We ask the right questions. I ask like how many times a week do you shave, Bill? Because you look like you just came from a methadone clinic. I say that with love and respect.
I haven't shaved in a couple weeks.
I know, but I'm just saying, like these are the questions that the people want to know.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm happy to be here. I'm looking forward to an exciting Super Bowl and of course an exciting All-Star game.
Give us a quick pick and we're leaving.
I'm gonna go 24-21. Cam. He can't. He's an animal. He's a beast. Teddy Gin. I call him Teddy Gin.
Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yo, anytime. I appreciate it. And,
Thanks to HBO Now for sponsoring today's BS podcast. You don't need cable or satellite to watch HBO anymore. Download the HBO Now app and start your free 1-month trial today. Coming this month, Fast 7, San Andreas, and Vinyl, the new show, Scorsese. I'm excited. Coming later in 2016. Maybe brand new content from yours truly. HBO Now. Go get it. Thanks to Framebridge.com. They just framed 15 posters for my garage, and I love them dearly.
Did they really?
These are good people.
They look fantastic.
Yeah. No, you haven't even seen them yet.
But I'm saying your posters in here look great.
Thank you. Use offer code BS for 50% off your first Framebridge.com order. And thanks to SeatGeek, the presenting sponsor of the BS podcast and Channel 33. Subscribe to both podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud. Plug your podcast one more time.
The I Am Rapaport stereo podcast.
All right. Get that on iTunes or wherever you get podcasts. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. And good luck to LA United.
How good is that vinyl show going to be? You already know it's going to be
I'm
great.
excited.
Scorsese, Coke, rock and roll in the 70s.
And how about David Simon's doing a 70s porn show?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be times. It's going to be good.
HBO. They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
All right. Enjoy the weekend.
We about this bitch. Anytime y'all want to see me again, rewind this track right here, close your eyes, and picture me rolling.